The lost city of Atlantis. Is it fact or fiction? For centuries, the idea of a magnificent advanced civilization disappearing beneath the ocean has fascinated historians, archaeologists, and adventurers alike. But what's the truth behind this ancient tale? Could Atlantis really have existed, or is it just a story? Today, we're going to explore the evidence, the theories, and the science behind the mystery of Atlantis. The story of Atlantis begins with Plato, the famous Greek philosopher. Around 360 BCE, Plato wrote two dialogues called Timaeus and Critias. In these writings, he describes Atlantis as an advanced, wealthy, and powerful civilization. It was a massive island nation located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which we now know as the Strait of Gibraltar. According to Plato, Atlantis was a utopia with vast resources, beautiful palaces, and advanced technology. But like many great civilizations, its downfall came from within.
Plato tells us that Atlantis grew corrupt and arrogant, and the gods punished it by sending
earthquakes and floods. In just a single day and night, Atlantis was swallowed by the sea and lost forever.
But here's the thing. Plato was the only ancient writer to mention Atlantis in such detail. No other historical records from that time back up his story. So, was Atlantis a real place? Or was it just a moral lesson about the dangers of greed and pride? Over the centuries, many people have tried to figure out where Atlantis might have been. Some of the most popular theories place Atlantis in the Mediterranean Sea, while others suggest it could be in the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean, or even Antarctica. Let's take a closer look at some of the most famous theories. One of the most widely believed ideas is that Atlantis might have been the Minoan civilization, located on the island of Santorini in the Aegean Sea. The Minoans were highly advanced, just like Atlantis. They had grand palaces, a strong navy, and a flourishing economy. But around 1600 BCE, a massive volcanic eruption destroyed much of the island. This eruption could have caused tsunamis that wiped out the civilization, just as Plato described. The similarities between Atlantis and the Minoans are striking, but there's one problem. The timeline doesn't match Plato's account. Plato said Atlantis existed 9,000 years before his time, which would place it around 11,000 BCE, long before the Minoans. So, while the Minoan theory is compelling, it's not a perfect fit. Another popular theory points to the Azores Islands, located in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Some researchers believe that these islands could be the tips of mountains from a once great landmass that sank beneath the waves. The Azores sit on an underwater plateau, which matches Plato's description of a large island beyond the Pillars of Hercules. Explorers have been searching the Azores region for any sign of Atlantis, but so far, no clear evidence has been found. Could Atlantis still be hidden under the ocean, waiting to be discovered? While many have searched for a physical Atlantis, others believe that Plato's story was never meant to be taken literally. Instead, they argue that Atlantis was a symbolic tale, a warning about the dangers of hubris or excessive pride. Plato's dialogues were philosophical works, not historical accounts. Some scholars think that Atlantis was an allegory, representing the downfall of powerful empires. After all, the theme of a great civilization falling because of its arrogance is a common one throughout history. In this view, Atlantis isn't a place we'll find on a map. Instead, it's a reminder that even the mightiest nations can fall if they become too proud and corrupt. So, maybe Plato was using the story of Atlantis to reflect on the human condition and the fragility of power. But what does science say? Could there be any truth to the idea that a massive landmass like Atlantis was swallowed by the sea? Over the last few decades, scientists have uncovered evidence that parts of the Earth have experienced dramatic changes in sea levels and tectonic activity. For example, there's the case of Doggerland, a region that once connected Britain to mainland Europe. Around 8,000 years ago, rising sea levels submerged Doggerland, turning it into what is now the North Sea. Could Atlantis have been a similar landmass, lost to the ocean due to natural disasters like earthquakes or tsunamis? It's possible, though we would need more evidence to confirm it. Another idea is that volcanic activity could have played a role. Some underwater volcanoes can cause massive eruptions and tsunamis that might explain Atlantis' sudden disappearance, as described by Plato. But even though these scientific explanations are intriguing, we still haven't found any definitive proof that Atlantis existed. So why do we still care so much about Atlantis? The Lost City has become one of the most enduring legends in human history, inspiring books, movies, and countless expeditions. But what is it about this myth that fascinates us? So, is Atlantis fact or fiction? The answer remains elusive. While there are intriguing theories and scientific possibilities, no one has definitively found the Lost City. Maybe it was real, maybe it was just a story. But in the end, Atlantis continues to captivate us, not because we know all the answers, but because it reminds us of how much there is left to discover. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of the greatest mysteries of all time. If you enjoyed this exploration, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more mysteries and hidden stories. Until next time, keep seeking the unknown.